and by the way, this isn't just a China thing. I don't think any foreign country should be buying up American land or American real estate, period. Okay, by the way, you wanna talk about China? You wanna talk about China? Let's go to downtown Los Angeles, where there is a massive abandoned high-rise that a Chinese firm started building.
Wow, looky what's going on here. We're back on the Young Turks with Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, talking about Laura Ingraham and how Ana Kasparian is in agreement with Laura Ingraham on the issue of foreign companies, specifically Chinese companies, buying property in the United States. And Ana Kasparian seems to agree with Laura Ingraham, and so do I. So let's get into it and see what the Young Turks, Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur, have to say about all this.
A little murmuring in MAGA land about the comments about China today. Did MAGA vote for China to be able to buy up more American real estate or American companies? They ask.
Is that really a question? Really? That's what we're doing now? The spin? That's the spin?
Last night, Laura Ingraham and Alina Habba had a heated back and forth on the issue of Chinese investments in America. Now, let me just preface this by saying, I can't believe how much I agree with Laura Ingraham on this matter, but I do agree with Laura Ingraham on this matter, and I also agree with anyone else who thinks it's a crazy idea to allow foreign countries and foreign businesses to buy American real estate, American land. You get the picture. But nonetheless, yesterday Trump said that he would actually welcome those investments, but Ingraham, not a big fan of his comments.
I see so many things saying that we don't want China in this country. That's not right. We want them to invest in the United States. That's good. There's a lot of money coming in, and we'll invest in China.
Oh, okay. But China's already bought up American companies, agricultural interests, and huge swaths of land and properties, including some that we've documented here on The Angle near our military bases. But did MAGA turn out for Trump because they wanted more of that? Or they want thousands of more foreign workers here to drive down wages and opportunities for Americans? A fine line must be walked. Americans first, always, no matter what the donors want.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Laura Ingraham is nailing it. And Donald Trump is doing what Trump does. He just sees the money. So while I do have plenty of positive things to say about Donald Trump, especially the madness of these first few weeks of his second term, I 100% agree with Laura Ingraham here, and probably with most of MAGA. Even I don't really consider myself a MAGA per se, but I certainly agree with America first. No, foreign companies should not be buying agricultural land, real estate, commercial or residential companies. No, whether it's China or anybody else. No. What about America first? Do you not understand, Trump or Elon or Vivek Ramaswamy?
Damn right.
Wow.
No, I agree with her. I totally agree with her. In fact, I got a lot of heat because, and by the way, this isn't just a China thing. I don't think any foreign country should be buying up American land or American real estate, period. Okay, by the way, you wanna talk about China? You wanna talk about China? Let's go to downtown Los Angeles, where there is a massive abandoned high-rise that a Chinese firm started building. They run out of money, they go bankrupt, and that's it. They take off. And that building is, I mean, it's just covered in graffiti. It has become a complete utter disaster. It's right next to the Staples Center that's been renamed Crypto, whatever, but Staples Center.
Yeah, so look at Laura Ingraham calling out the donors, let alone everything else.
Yeah, I like it.
And what donor is she talking about? Because there is one donor that has a lot of deals with China, and his name rhymes with Tilon. So that was an interesting call out there. And so for everyone on the left who said, no, there'll never be any lack of unity on the right, that everyone in right-wing media and everyone in Trump voters will never break with him and they'll justify every single thing he does. There's Fox News and Laura Ingraham By the way, this is just one of like 3 stories today where they're in open rebellion.
Well, look,
right?
I think people, look, I don't know what percentage, we haven't run a study or a poll on it, but I think at least some people who voted for Trump and believed in his message are now starting to wake up to the fact that the MAGA movement has completely been co-opted by tech billionaires and corporate interests. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's like you can see it, and you can see how much Trump has like flip-flopped on some of his core messaging, right? I mean, think about it. I remember Greg Abbott in Texas and Ron DeSantis in Florida got a lot of flack from the left because they banned Chinese investment in residential real estate, near military bases. They banned China from being able to buy land in their states. And I thought, no, I think this is the right course of action.
I didn't know governors could do that in the United States. That is, of course, one of the good things about the United States that makes it pretty unique is that the individual states have so much power. They should have a lot more power. A lot of it's been co-opted over the decades and centuries now by the federal government, which needs to be undone. So undoing not only the bloated federal bureaucracy, just the bloated powers of the federal government, that is a good thing, undoing all that. But the states themselves, if they have the power to do that, they should all be doing it. And really the federal government's one of its jobs is to protect the United States. So it should be protecting, there should be a blanket overall level of protection against foreign countries, foreign companies, foreign people buying up United States property. It should be the same everywhere. I mean, Jesus. Countries like Vietnam and Thailand, they have laws against this kind of thing. You know, a foreigner can't buy property there. Apparently, you know, there's different rules in different places. Some places you have to set up a local company and then you can buy a certain amount of property. But there's real limits. There is limits on that kind of stuff. And who wouldn't be against that, you know? Except people who all they see is dollar signs, you know, and power.
And especially when it comes to residential real estate, which a lot of these, you know, foreign business people like to park their money in, but they have no interest in actually living in those homes. It robs the American people of the limited housing inventory that's left out there.
Yep.
It's disgusting. So I like what happened in Texas and in Florida. Trump was supposed to be totally in line with that. All of a sudden, no, we want their investments.
So we're going to show you a little bit more of Ingraham and Haba brawling a little bit. It was super interesting. And there's one tiny clip that makes all the difference. And I'm ready to declare it. They're going to get caught. I mean Trump and Elon. So I want to explain why, but first let's give you the context here, and then I want to go to that short clip that I think is so telling.
So Ingraham brought on Haba, and they were, you know, getting into a bit of a argument. It's a heated argument about this whole situation. Let's take a look.
That's the spin. Yeah, no. What the president said was very simple. It's the same policy we've had across the board. When you look at reciprocal tariffs, when you look at the strong arm that President Trump has had with China, with Canada, with Mexico, we want America to be safe. We care about American people first. It's like what you just said in your monologue. I couldn't have said it better. America first.
Alina, but you can't buy. Reciprocity would mean Americans can go off and buy lots of Chinese real estate,
No.
you know, near military bases, which I know President Trump is not in favor of.
No.
But the concern obviously is like we want to do. You know, the deals are great, and so much of them are phenomenal. But you see where Democrats are starting to like worm their way into the populist agenda and say, whoa, 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 how is that for the American worker to bring in thousands of more foreign workers? That is what some on the MAGA side are, you know, kind of whispering about, but nevertheless, it's out there.
Don't whisper about it because you're right. You're right. Okay, those who are against what Trump is saying about Chinese investment in the United States are correct. Whether you're on the left or the right, who cares, right? Are you or are you not concerned about our country and investments within our country?
Okay, so they're fighting, but they're trying to keep it civil.
Totally.
Wow, listen to these TYT nationalists here. They call themselves populists these days. They used to call themselves progressives and populists, but they're acting like nationalists, what they're saying, and I'm all for it. I am a staunch nationalist. I think every And every leader of every country should be a nationalist, i.e. someone who is for the nation. And the nation, what is the nation? The original meaning of nation is a people. And what is a people? A people is, like a tribe, a group of people who have shared heritage, culture, etc.
Right. And so, I mean, some of the deals are great and all that. And so she doesn't want to blame right at all to Laura Ingraham. And so that's why she invented this thing with the Democrats are worming their way into populism. Really? Is Chuck Schumer doing that? Is Hakeem Jeffries doing that?
He's the king of worming his way into populism.
Really? Seriously, like, I didn't know we and O'Connor and Bernie were that powerful, because we're about the only ones doing left-wing populism and insisting on left-wing populism, and not like, corporate or far left or anything like that. Like, that's the lane, right?
Right.
Somehow okay, great. I'm super happy to take it. Yes,
We're warming our way in. We're warming our way in.
Yes, we've been populist for 20 years.
But
welcome, Laura.
Obviously, the criticism that she's hearing and the criticism that she herself agrees with is coming from right-wing Trump voters for good reason. This goes against, it flies in the face of what Trump promised and what he campaigned on. Now, let's go to the final video where Haba gets the last word on this argument with Laura Ingraham.
Let me clarify that then, if there's any confusion. What the president was referring to was us continuing to have business relations. We do import, export, of course we do. That is what we're talking about. Yes, we are going to be a strong nation. Yes, we are going to have peace through strength. Yes, we are going to have a stronger economy, and we are going to cut the fat through DOGE, through the president's initiatives, and what we have voted, the American people have voted for on November 5th. But that means that, yes, we're going to be tough, but we still want to make money. We still want to be producing. We still want to work with other countries. China's just another example. It's a lot like, Laura, when the president says something like Putin is bright, or Putin, that doesn't mean he's praising him. That means that he is acknowledging the situation. What is good for America? What is America first? If you say we're not going to have Amazon, we're not going to have anything imported or exported with China, that's not realistic. That's not what he's saying. We want to do business, but it's got to be done the right way. And that is what the president was referring to. But of course, the spin is real, as you know.
I thought the mention of Amazon was fascinating in what she said there, because, Jeff Bezos has been on his hands and knees, praising Donald Trump. He just censored his own editorial, writers.
They're allowed to talk about freedom.
They're allowed to talk about
although they're not free to talk about freedom.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but look, make no mistake, Amazon would collapse if it didn't have access to cheaply made, Chinese goods.
Well, these days Amazon probably would collapse because, of course, Amazon is the everything store online, and I'm as guilty as anybody else of just buying pretty much everything off Amazon. A lot of, and virtually, but I'm not, and you are not guilty of the fact that everything is made in China. No, that is due to the leadership. Specifically the leadership in the United States, starting in the 1980s, when they just started offshoring manufacturing capacity and decimating American manufacturing capacity in the process, destroying whole communities in the process, which is the very antithesis of America first. And I remember, I'll admit, back in the 80s when I heard about that sort of thing, I would say, I'm all in favor of free trade. That's how they talked about it. It's free trade. Free trade is good for everybody. It'll bring prices down. And it's true. It has brought prices down, and we can get all sorts of goods, but at what cost? And when I was in college in the 80s, so I was a young man in my very early 20s, late teens, early 20s. That's why you don't give the vote. That's why you shouldn't give the vote to idiot teenagers and idiot youngsters. That's because they'll say things like that. I agreed. Yeah, free trade is great. So what if, our steel makers die here, If they can produce it in China cheaper, so be it, So what if our automakers die? If they can make cars in China, or if they can assemble them in Mexico and ship them across the border without customs duties, so be it, But no, real leaders would have been against that right from the start. And some people were, some actual grown-ups were. But in the end, this is where we end up 40 years later. And in Europe, it's the same, they're literally destroying, we here are destroying not only our own manufacturing capacity, but our own capacity to generate energy, for example. So I am heartened to see Laura Ingraham, I've been saying Ingraham, I guess it's Ingram, pointing this out. People should be pushing back against Trump and Elon and Vivek and all these guys and Bezos and Bill Gates. Absolutely. Because, yeah, I mean, Trump is Trump. We know what he's like. And all these guys, we know what these oligarchs are like. They have, their goal is money and power. So, yeah, good on all these people and good on the Young Turks for agreeing with Laura Ingraham. I'll leave it there for now. If you want to see this whole video, of course, you can just go to the Young Turks channel on YouTube. If you have any comments, please leave them. I read all my comments, even reply to quite a few, and I will see you in the next video.